John O'Brien out here at Extreme Property Makeover. We got some sand ground. We got blocks of different forages. Half the blocks we got dry fertilizer, half liquid. Just want to touch on the difference between dry and liquid. Been doing liquid for 20 plus years with some of my clients. And the advantage of liquid is it's sprayed and it hits the leaf, and generally it only needs 1 to 4 hours before rain hits to make sure there's enough absorption. When those nutrients go into leaves, they find their way down into the roots, which the roots are your storage. So even though a lot of people don't realize that, they're not just absorbed in the leaf, they stay in the leaf, they flow down into the roots. And so basically the roots are the engine, the powerhouse. When you got extreme drought, when you have extreme wet, which we've had both in some areas across the United States this year, if you're using dry fertilizer, if it's really dry, those dry fertilizers are not getting into the roots. If you're using liquid, you could have leaching of nutrients. You could also have loss, especially on the nitrogens, and you also might have deficiency symptoms by using a dry program. Liquid corrects deficiencies really fast. So again, some people have heard me say I'm using 3 passes, some cases 4 passes, using liquid as a starter, and then also foliar feeding. And the thing that tends to happen is the deer are smart. When you have deer out there and you're foliar feeding, they tend to migrate to the areas where you have foliar applied plant foods. And you see a higher Brix reading, higher sugar content. That's very typical. Another little side thing to consider is if you're going to foliar feed, in the mornings, late afternoon, early evening tend to be the best times. You want to do it between 60-degree temperatures and 80. But the exception would be is when you have a lot of heavy morning dew. You had a lot of rain the day before where you might have a condition where you have a lot of moisture still on the plant. In those cases, you might want to wait till things dry out and do it late afternoon, early evening. And again, is there such a thing as too late to foliar feed? I wanted to do mine today out at the main Giro farm. I'll probably wait till Monday. In that case, what'll be part of the reason for me doing it is, even though I've done numerous passes, this will be the 4th application. It's my way of winterizing my food plots on the perennial clovers, alfalfa, annual clovers that some of them will regrow next year. So what we're doing is the foliar will go into the leaves, get in the roots. The roots will have a good storage, which will help us get through the winter stress conditions that tend to happen in a lot of the areas of the upper Midwest. So foliar feeding versus dry. Some people might be like, well, what's the cost? Virtually identical. A lot of the calculations I've done for guys are basically identical per acre to be doing a dry application versus liquid. The advantage of liquid is you're not dumping very much product per gallon into a tank. The dry, you got to carry all these heavy bags. You have to rely a little bit on the weather and timely rains. Many guys got sand ground. Sand ground is very inefficient when you're putting dry fertilizers down. Liquids, as long as you got enough leaf surface material to stick, you're going to be seeing absorption and response. Just a few talking points comparing dry to liquid from John O'Brien, Grand Prairie Outdoors.